welcome to What We Thought Would Happen.
It's us.
I'm Laura Kightlinger.
I'm Dana Webb.
And we are so damn lucky to have one of my favorite actor, comedian, writers.
Our favorite.
Our. That's right.
Everything.
We're going to. He is a playwright. He is an amazing screenwriter, TV writer, comic, actor. And right now he's been touring with a play called Lottie, Plachett Took a Hatchet. And it's based on, may I say, the life and times of Lizzie Borden. Mm-hmm. The love life and the... It makes it sound like a lighthearted.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Justin Sayre.
Justin Sayre. Hey, I'm so glad. Happy to see you.
This is expensive.
This
we
is
don't let you
awesome.
talk until we say your name.
I know. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
No, thanks for having me.
And congrats on the show. You brought it to LA.
Oh, yeah. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
We started it out here in Casita del Campo, the theater that was under a Mexican restaurant.
Why is the theater there was?
Oh, it's closed down.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It is?
Yeah, I don't know permanently. I had a long talk with a waiter there last week.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, no. But they shut it down for fire codes, which all you'd have to do is
100%.
walk in and look and be like, oh, this is where people die.
Yeah, 100%.
Is it like the Troubadour, which is just a black box? No, there's not even a window in the bathroom.
No, well, it's very underground.
Yes.
And there's one real bossy queen who's in charge of the seating.
Yeah, Mr. Dan.
Yeah, Mr. Dan, who I actually would trust in an emergency.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Sure. In a Shelley Winters kind of Poseidon situation.
But then
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so the play really is Lizzie Borden.
Yes, it's based on Lizzie Borden. I had a bunch of friends go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and I wanted to write a play for that. So during the pandemic, I'd done like 9 plays on Zoom just because, try to keep myself sane, and we'd worked with a lot of people that had worked on a project that I had out here called Ravenswood Manor. So
Oh, yes.
oh yeah,
I love that.
Yes.
oh, thank you
Amazing.
so much.
Sorry, that's a blip. I totally remember Ravenswood.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
Yes. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I was kind of going through, I keep a notebook of different ideas and things, and I was like, oh, I always wanted to write a Lizzie Borden thing. So I had some stuff. I had been obsessed with Lizzie Borden as a little kid and kind of thought like, oh, I'm going to solve it. I'm going to be the one for some reason. I have no idea why. And wrote a play kind of using a lot of the stuff from the Lizzie Borden trial, using stuff from her life, exaggerating it, kind of putting a queer spin on it. And this is the play.
So
That's amazing. Well, I like that you were fascinated with it as a kid, like you were going to solve the mystery, like did she do it or not? Like I think I got interested in it because I thought, could I do that to my parents?
you didn't know it was an option.
Yeah.
It was an open window.
Right.
There's always that breaking, break glass, pull out this axe and live in infamy.
Yeah.
Okay, but describe young Justin. Like, how old were you? And what was your entry point to discovering Lizzie Borden?
And also, Justin, will you mention again where you grew up?
I grew up in a little town called 40 Fort, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
40 Fort. The Fort of 40.
Where is that in Pennsylvania?
It's in northeastern Pennsylvania near Wilkes-Barre. That's the big town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I grew up in a little town. Both sets of grandparents were about 5 minutes away from my house. So I was in touch with them and really kind of spent a lot of time with them. So there was a lot of kind of older influences. I knew all 40s music and musicals as a young person. And then I guess in, where everybody kind of rebels in their teenage years, I got into, I think, kind of murder mysteries that was my rebellion. That Agatha Christie kind of like, oh, we're all at a resort, but somebody dies, but don't we look fabulous? Kind of like, that kind of cross section that I liked,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just kind of, and true crime and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I find that I am one of those gals who kind of curls up on a couch on a weekend and watches like a serial murder. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Don't mind it. Don't mind it. It's not happening to me.
To the uneducated, Lizzie Borden allegedly took a hatchet to her parents,
to her father and her stepmother.
And then they're both in the bedroom.
No, her father was in the study downstairs, and her stepmother was upstairs
in the bedroom.
in a spare bedroom.
And it was such a salacious thing at the time that there was a song.
Yes.
Is that in your?
Oh yes, we wrote.
Can we hear a little?
Lottie Plachett took a hatchet threw it at her ma to catch it. When she'd seen what she had done, she threw it at her pa for fun.
Yes. That's beautiful.
So, so we have that in the show. Oh, we got all your hits.
Question, if the crime, things were disposed in the outside yard or something, right? Am I wrong?
No, they never found the hatchet.
Right, but like clothing or anything was outside?
No.
There was blood on some clothing, possibly, but they rinsed it out or washed it out.
She burned a dress in front of people, which everybody was like, what are you doing? Very curious.
Yeah.
Very curious situations.
Was there one victim she went really to town on? Hatchet-wise?
The way they had kind of put it together is that the stepmother had been killed earlier in the day. That there had been a series of hours where she'd been dead upstairs.
Creepy. That's a real insult, right?
But the stepmom was really awful to the girls. Terrible.
Hatchet bad, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hatchet bad.
Yeah. Okay, well, fuck her. But that's a real insult when you're dead for hours and no one notices. That really hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
Well, but they were in the middle of nowhere, too. They were somewhere in Massachusetts.
Yeah, Falls
44.
Falls. Yeah,
no, sorry.
Practically. But by the time she reported the father dead, he was still bleeding. So it was very fresh. And yeah.
Wow.
I remember that detail.
Yes. One time I made the mistake of looking. You can see the police cameras of the Menendez crime scene. It is rough, but it's like when kids kill their parents, they really fucking tear it up.
It's not a decision you take lightly.
No,
it's
but
not
there's
like not another of this Christmas.
Yeah.
You know?
Depending on how old you are, like if you're in your teens or 20. And when I was 12, bam, and 18,
and when I was 56, bam. Right, because there's those people.
Oh yeah,
the weird, creepy old men who live with their mothers and then they kill them when they're like 70. Sure. That's the worst crime.
You think so?
Yeah, being old and then being murdered. Murder me young and gorgeous.
Right.
Don't murder me old and gross. And when everyone's like, well, she was about to die.
If anyone's listening, Daniel'd like to be murdered now.
I've got, I think, a 10-year window before this whole thing goes to shit. Well, past murder age.
Look, we're talking about the strikes and the celebrities, and we're saying, it's one thing to be dumb, but don't be mean to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I think a lot of the child actors, they didn't have, much of an education. They don't have much of an experience in the real world or in life.
I feel like I'm a child actor now. You describe it.
No. I'm just saying, but then they also have, huge egos, and it's like, where did you? Anyway,
is this about Leif Garrett again?
Oh no, I love Leif.
You do?
No, I guess it's kind of about Drew Barrymore.
Oh, that. I thought that was so fun. Well, see, here's the thing. Okay, so what you just said, someone like her her whole life is a bubble, like it or not, right? Because first of all, she's a child star, but the first movie she's in is going to be forever famous. It's like epic, right?
Yeah.
So she's sort of endeared into the culture.
Yeah.
Thusly, she doesn't understand the plight of any poor person. And she probably was trying to when she was trying to get the crew back to work. But the best thing is the strike was resolved 2 days later. It was like she should have just waited.
Yeah.
So you're on strike?
Oh, sure. I'm on strike. I stand in solidarity with everybody.
It must be nice because you're in New York. It must be a better strike line. It must be cooler than it is out here.
It's more just coffee and, just bagels and we leave.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple.
You've lived in LA.
Yeah, I lived in LA for about 7 years.
Yeah, but you seem very East Coast. Do you like LA?
Oh, I like LA when you're here to work.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to be. I think that was what was driving me. When we went into COVID times, I went Grey Gardens real quick. I was just alone with the cats. It was bad. It was bad.
Have you seen the Grey Gardens lately?
Have I seen it lately?
No, like the house.
The Grey Gardens house?
Yeah.
On Long Island?
Yeah.
No, I've heard it's beautiful.
Yeah, they've redone it.
Oh,
it looks very, it's very like Home and Gardens now. It's not like, the Addams Family trashy.
But I have to ask, Justin, did you come out here for a writing job? Is that right?
I got hired on, got hired on Two Broke Girls.
Look, he's still shook.
Is that where you met, Laura? Is that where y'all met?
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yes.
Okay.
And we worked with a person at Two Broke Girls who has become a tyrant, to say the least. And will you tell us your experience, Justin?
So I'd never written on a sitcom before. I had a video from one of my shows at Joe's Pub at the Public had gone viral, and he who can't be named saw the video and called Bridget Everett, who I knew, through there and said, have you ever thought about writing for a sitcom? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I don't even think I had ever written a pilot. I had sketches that I had written in my show to show that I could write a scene. I knew what those were about. I think I remember sending a sketch where Nancy Reagan, a very decrepit Nancy Reagan, came into Mitt Romney's house and beat up his wife for letting her down.
That's great.
It was just a crazy, she was taking back the White House bathroom keys, and she was so disappointed. So I came out to LA. I was writing on this show. I really didn't know anything. I didn't even know blue pages mean they're new. I had no idea.
What was that like? Really fast. Sorry to interrupt you, but going into a job like that, how did you feel? Were you like, I can do this? I'm scared shitless.
I had no idea. I really had no idea. I was like, okay, this is the opportunity. I would take home these huge Bible scripts and every night and just read them and be like, oh, okay, this is what's happening, to kind of figure things out. I very quickly knew that, especially on that set, your job was to pitch jokes all night, especially on film night, because we would rewrite scenes all night. Those tapings were 6.5 hours long.
And I know I felt bad for the actors.
When you're you said your job is to be pitching jokes. Do you come in ready, or are you really just I'll just do it on the spot? Depending.
Would do half and half.
Yeah.
I would go through and really write oh, here's a possible. Here, the other thing too, and this was something that I can say now because it's over. I remember getting the job and going to New York, and people were like, that show's fucking racist.
Oh no!
People were like, "Oof,
why?
That's rough."
Casting or
no,
employment?
just certain jokes that were played up.
Yeah,
the Asian guy who can't speak English.
I hate to tell you, I never watched that show. Sorry.
Oh no,
I'm sorry.
You know what? I never did either.
But a lot of people in America do, and
it
I
was
get
very
a check
popular
every once in a while for it. So I'm happy for that.
So, the same way, Friends was fucking racist and homophobic and everything, right?
But I kind of went out, and I didn't really say this. Probably my first or second season, because I was like, if there was anything I really thought was oh, that's off color, I'm gonna pitch against it all week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I did with rape jokes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You just kind of picked your battle, and you're like, oh, that's too far. Yeah. Okay.
And I mentioned this on another podcast actually, that then the person that we worked with would come over to me and go, okay, I know you don't like rape jokes. What do you have? And it was kind of like, oh yeah, that's me. That's my quirk. I'm allergic to, onions or something. Yeah. I know you don't like that.
Oh, Laura has to order her own pizza that hasn't been sexually assaulted.
Yeah. But anyway, we tell. I'm sorry, Justin. Will you go on and say what happened with your script?
Oh yeah, my first script, I was pitching constantly because I didn't know the rules of oh, you're just brand new. Nobody cares what you think. You should just really listen. I just was pitching all the time because I thought that's what we're paying
hired
me
you for. Yes,
bringing these free lunches in every day. I got to do something. So,
and you think you were just supposed to be absorbing and not?
I think more so than I did.
Gotcha.
But then this person came in and fired all the new writers except me on one day because they got a speeding ticket on the way to work, and it had pushed them over the edge. Yep. They fired everybody.
And were you in the room when that happened?
No, I was getting text messages from all the writers as they were going down the list and being like, oh, I just got fired. I just got fired. I just got fired. I just got fired. So I drove in, and I was taken into the office and told that I was not fired, but that the assistants hated me.
Oh,
what?
And that I should make up with them because I had been so stupid.
Something similar happened to me. I was at a party in WashU University, and my friend goes, we just spiked your drink with ecstasy. And I went, what? And she goes, and all my friends think you're a dick.
What?
So have a great time.
Yeah. That's awful.
That all happened in 15 seconds, yeah. This was 2000, so for some reason, being dosed wasn't really on my radar as being a total crime.
You were like, oh, all right.
Well, at first I was a little game until I found out everybody hated me. I was like, well, now I should just leave. I'll trip alone.
Whomever says things like that is the one that's hated.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, all these people, they were all PhDs. That was a problem. You know when smart people do drugs?
Oh.
Okay, so anyway, I keep interrupting this story.
Don't do it. I was smart people.
You
do
were the
drugs.
last person standing.
Yeah, I was the boy who lived. They called me. And I was nicer to the assistants, which I didn't know I hadn't been nice to them, but I was like, okay, whatever everybody needs. And then my first script, he came in and threw it at me.
Physically
threw it. This is typed, not written.
Yeah. As in not handwritten.
No, as in it wasn't even good enough to be called written. It was merely typed.
I've got it now.
That's too smart of a read. I can't, like, you know what I mean?
Believe me, at the time, it was terrible. And then the really, like, the final straw of like, oh, I don't know that. When I got hired to do this, I had signed a contract at Joe's Pub for a monthly show, and I had that residency and like really worked hard for that residency in New York for years. So I was like, okay, my show's Sunday night. I'll fly to New York Friday night. I'll get a red eye. I'll come out Monday morning. I'll be at work at 9:30 on Monday morning. And I did that every month.
Dang.
Wow.
For the first few months that I was out there.
That's kind of fun, though. That is kind of rock star.
Oh, yeah. It was like great. It was like, oh, I'm going to, I'm being driven to the Warner Brothers set, everyone. It was great.
That shit's fun.
And then one morning, my flight was delayed or something. It was just like something terrible. And I was just going to be late. And I came in and I had been texting everybody the night before. It wasn't like unknown, but I'd been texting everybody, and I walked in and they had a really terrible table read, which I had missed.
Yeah.
And he threw the script down.
Again?
Yes. He threw the script down and he goes, no more New York. No more New York. You work here.
Oh, wow.
Your job is here.
Wow.
And screamed at me. And I was like, 3 hours of sleep. I was like ready to write jokes.
Yeah.
And just panicked.
Right.
And just screamed at me. And the thing about him that I began to learn is that, like, unlike I think other tyrants, of which he was one, he was embarrassed by doing it.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I always felt like he was a little embarrassed because he would explode
Yes.
and he would say something awful.
Yes. And then
he would see all our faces go, holy shit, what just happened? And then he would have to leave the room.
Yes. I think that's part of the psychosis. The fucking people like that. I mean, I've never met this person, so I can't speak for him. But that's part of it, is like their weird cycle of abuse, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I could say this. Did you ever see the hair thing? He used to eat his...
Oh, no, that's a thing.
What?
No, but that's a real
He
thing.
was eating his eyebrows?
No, yes, that's a thing. Only eyebrows? I'm looking it up. Were there eyelashes involved?
No, he would just...
Okay.
When he would,
That's
especially
a
when things
disorder.
weren't going well, he'd pluck them and eat them.
Oh my God. I saw...
I'm looking it up
I
right
can,
now.
on SNL, when me and like 12 guys were all there, anything that we had that was funny, we had already set it at 6 p.m., but we were there until, midnight or 1. And I saw take the skin off the bottom of his feet and eat it.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Was there like a charcuterie board nearby? Where
I don't know.
Crackers?
No, I was just that's not okay.
From his heel?
Just the bottom of his foot. Or wherever there was skin on his... I guess maybe his heel or whatever, he would take off a piece and chew on it.
Did anybody say something? That's foul. I mean, I'm into feet licking. I'm not like feet kink is sexy. Like,
but not your own. Not your own.
Not in front of.
Not your own.
And this is probably under like fluorescent lighting, right? It's like an office.
Oh man, the whole
like,
thing. It was just all of it was a
what
nightmare.
kind of damage are we doing to each other?
Okay, so
where that seems like an option.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Surely comedy isn't worth that price.
I know.
I'm trying.
Hey,
to
let's
find
bring
out.
the comedy back to comedy and not have so many mean assholes involved.
Okay, it's
God.
trichotillomania. Unless you want to read that word, trichotillomania.
Yeah, I think so.
Krakatoa-mania.
I'm surprised that you saw that glimpse of that. Yeah.
It's hard because he did give me a huge opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for that. I don't know. Like, he also gave me my first ulcer. Do you know
my
what I mean?
God. Really? Probably.
I
Right?
still have panic dreams about, like, I used to have dreams of him walking into my house and being like, oh,
No
look
more
at this
New York.
place.
Wow.
I feel like there's an abuse lawsuit here. Just from
You're
so
working
many
on a
people. It's so crazy.
Class action lawsuit.
Yeah, I feel like because, I'm a mean man too. I don't know.
Are
because,
you a mean man?
I mean, he actually one time when we were on set actually physically moved me out of the way.
Listen to us.
And then I was like, but then I was like, since I'm on a time delay anyway in life,
I am too.
that I think like by the time I get mad about something, the moment's gone.
Yes. Sure. I honestly do think I'm on a time delay. Yeah. Like people say
the brain
something
aneurysm
funny.
didn't help. Justin, did Garrett already tell you in the car that I had a brain aneurysm?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't need to go into it again.
I forgot. Hang on, I brought my bag. Hang on, stay right here.
Okay.
Update Justin really fast about the aneurysm.
Okay. Oh no, I don't. I'm sick of talking
How you
about it.
doing about it, though?
Huh?
How you feeling with it?
I'm fine. I said, a second chance at life was really wasted on me, Justin, because everyone's like, oh, people don't recover from that so quickly. And there was actually this nurse that was crying because I was fine, like right after brain surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was weird. And every morning people, the interns came in and they'd ask me the same thing because this happened in 2020. They'd say, "What's your name?" And I'd say my name. And why are you here? And I said, I've had a brain aneurysm. And then they'd say, "Who's the president?" And I'd say, "Oh, fuck." Because it was... Yeah. So then, anyway, it was just crazy. But
I'm glad they took that as the answer.
I know. God, what
I forgot. I brought Halloween stuff.
Oh, you're so cute. That's right.
I want to wear the fingers while we
Justin and his partner went to Disney World, and she'd never been.
She'd never been. She totally freaked out. And over things that you didn't, like I didn't think would be, freak outable, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought there would be certain things that she would really enjoy, and then other things that would be enjoyable to me, if not, to do to her. So
that might make too much noise. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
I don't think
okay.
so?
I'm done.
Oh no.
I just want the spider.
Oh, gosh.
Okay,
You'll
now
have to
I'm
bring
done.
one back tomorrow.
Sorry,
morning.
Garrett.
Please.
Okay, so you went to Disneyland.
We went to Disneyland. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Was it Halloween time? Like
it was very Halloween time, which means there's like a lot of goth girls wearing Jack Skellington
Yes.
stuff. It's like, oh, okay, all right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my partner really just freaked out. We got off of It's a Small World, and she went, "Why is no one talking about this?" Just could not imagine.
It could heal the world, don't you think?
It really could.
I feel like I might have to go. I've been here I've been here 20 years. Maybe
You've never been? What? Why not?
Treat yourself.
I don't know. It seems like an ordeal.
Dude, it is. Are you fucking kidding? It is. And everyone has a meltdown.
Waiting in line.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't see, that was the shot. Maybe we went on a Tuesday, so maybe there wasn't a lot of young kids there.
I took my nieces there a couple months ago, and like I liked it, but all it does is make me want to go with adults instead and be high as shit.
Oh,
like psychedelically high.
Oh, of course.
Did you go to Toontown?
We did go to Toontown. Yes. We went to we did it all. We were running around like maniacs until midnight.
Wow. You did the nighttime Disneyland.
We were there all day long.
Damn.
She couldn't get enough.
Did you see the daytime parade?
Oh, we really saw everything. The worst part was that she said, "Oh, I don't know if I want to meet the characters," because they have characters walking around pretending to be people, which I don't like.
No, it's
That's
weird.
so funny. You don't want Minnie to be a cunt, right? You have this vision of her and what she's like.
Spoiler alert, she is.
Minnie Mouse.
Well, you also kind of you hope to kind of get in with them to be like, surely you'll let the guard down, and just be like a 19-year-old intern dressed as Snow White and be like, hey, where can we get the good stuff?
No.
But they don't. They really, really don't. So we went into, there's like a meet the princess kind of like photo opportunity. And I took her in and she was like, this is actually my nightmare. I can't believe you're doing this. And we went in and here are these like just 20-something-year-old beautiful young girls held hostage all day long. Dressed up as princesses and like they're in total Stockholm syndrome. They cannot get out. They're like, oh, I'm Sleeping Beauty, and I like naps. Do you like naps? And we're like, I'm 40. What are you? Of course I love a nap. Like, what are you talking about? Poor Snow White had lipstick on her teeth, and I was like, she's breaking. Somebody needs to fix her.
That's amazing.
And my partner was just like, that was the most harrowing part of this whole adventure. I was like, there you go.
Is Donald Duck a part of it? I'd like him to be drunk.
Donald drunk.
Donald Trump.
No, Donald Duck, though. Is he part of the whole Disney thing?
Oh, yeah.
Daisy Duck has a whole...
around.
Yeah, Daisy Duck has an entourage, and the crowd around her, everyone was like, oh, Daisy. And she doesn't even stop. She just waves. Very VIP. Very Cher, very Tina Turner.
Is there Huey, Louie, and Dewey also?
Depending on the day, I'm not sure.
Are they?
I don't know. We saw a lot of princesses. That seems to
There's
be
too many princesses now.
We saw Mulan.
Okay.
And we saw Tiana, who we love. And then we saw the 3 trapped princesses.
What?
The trapped ones.
Yeah. And then somehow we got on a conversation. I had once gone on a date with somebody. I'd gone on a second date with somebody who had played Peter Pan.
Wow.
At the Florida park. And the only reason they got the second date was because they dropped there with Peter Pan. I was like, all right.
Can I tell you how much I want to be on like a theatrical harness and fly? Like big time. Like Foy. Do you remember Foy? What was his name?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you could, no matter what.
Force. Yeah.
Just be on a harness at home.
No, I have, Laura.
Okay.
Multiple times. Hip dysplasia to prove it. No, I want to be on like Peter Pan.
I was in a harness.
Gary Martin.
I was in a harness on Mr. Show. I was hanging from the ceiling. I was the step fairy godmother.
You were?
Amazing.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun. I was up there a long time.
Does it hurt?
No.
Did you have people like bring you food or like?
Nope.
You
But
just
it was
hang up
really
there?
fun.
Did you have a broomstick? Or you were a fairy godmother?
No, I was a fairy godmother.
I want to fly. Have you
I'm
ever?
sure you can.
No.
I want.
No, I'm a grounded person.
Yeah, I want to. So no, I like Halloween Disney. We're gonna go do it just because it's spooky. But spooky adults, people try to like. There's Disney adults, and then there's like people who are Disney adults but think they can get away with it because they're being scary. Like Halloween time.
Yeah, I don't.
Y'all aren't wearing your Halloween.
You're
fingers.
doing a lot of disclaiming about how you're going to be Minnie and Mickey Mouse this year, I think. What are these
No,
things?
they're stamps, but they're not
those
that
are
good. I
cute.
brought Halloween stuff from the store.
You're going to be your couple costume is Minnie and Mickey this year.
Fuck no. We did a couple's costume last year, which was the first time I've ever done it, and we were the.
That was great. Your costume.
We were cute.
that
We
you
were the
sent me.
Beetlejuice, the Maitland, but when they're with the fucked up
great.
faces, which
That's
was
great.
cute. So this year it's a John Waters theme.
Oh, did you see the exhibit?
No, not yet. I went to the
We
Star
went yesterday.
You did?
Yes.
I want to go because so I'm with Margaret Cho is friends with him,
Oh my God.
and so she's on his Christmas card list.
Aw.
And last year she gave it to me as a gift. She regifted it, which is great. He gave all of his friends. It's an inflatable John Waters. like you blow him up. He's in a little. I haven't taken him out of the bag. I'm
That
too
is
Oh
so
my
cool.
God.
I know, isn't that cool? So I want to go to the exhibit. I think I want to be Debbie Harry from Hairspray, but when she has the bomb in the wig.
Oh,
I love
amazing.
that.
Right, so I have to get
Amazing.
a fucking Marie Antoinette wig,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna put a clock in it.
That'll
so
be
it's like
gorgeous.
ticking. Do you do Halloween? I love Halloween.
I don't. I have done it before, but we were going to do a couple's costume of Big Edie and Little Edie.
yeah.
Oh, sure. That'd
But
be
I'll
awesome.
be here and she'll be back in New York. So
Oh.
we'll try for next year.
Big Edie's totally my favorite.
Oh, shoot.
Right? So you've seen Great Gardens, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We should do that.
Sure.
You're Little Edie and I'm Big Edie.
There you go.
Can we
I would
please
love
do that?
Of course. Whenever I'm outside, like taking out the trash in my bathrobe, Garrett will say, he'll call me Big Edie, or he'll say, is there someone I can call? He says that.
Oh, no.
Is there someone I can call?
No, we did just watch, isn't it Drew Barrymore? Speaking of, she plays Little Edie in the movie.
Oh, yes.
The TV movie.
Yeah.
And who's the mom? She's really good.
Jessica Lange.
Yeah. Jessica Lange really like Edie's the house down.
Yeah.
Too much. One could say. Have you ever met Jessica Lange?
I have.
I'm sure she's lovely.
She's lovely. She's lovely. I smiled at her. I really got into a conversation. It was one of those random things of like New York. I smiled at her in Washington Square Park. And I said, how's your day? And we had a whole conversation.
So I
And it
just
was just like so informal, so lovely.
Yeah, just normal.
oh.
I remembered because I was in New York City a couple days ago, and it had been a million years, but I flashed back to the first famous person I ever saw, I think in life, was in New York outside the Ziegfeld. Was fucking Lauren Bacall.
Wow.
Right, and I do have a picture of her, but just before I snapped the photo, or as I did it, my fucking closeted ass, I go, Miss Bacall, and out of myself. But I have a photo of her, New York, 1998.
Oh my
How
God.
amazing.
But
I'm glad you didn't call her Betty. I heard my acting teacher from years ago was very good friends with Jason Robards.
Oh, he's
when
incredible.
they were married, he saw Betty and Jason on the street, and Betty kept walking, and Jason stopped to talk to my acting teacher, and Jason Robards called down the street, Betty, wait, come here. And she came back and she slapped him in the face.
oh my God.
And she said, don't you ever yell my name name in public.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
because her real name is Betty Perske, right?
Yeah.
my favorite thing is that what is worse is having your name called out versus slapping someone in public and that being outed, right? Like
The lady had standards.
Yeah.
I'll slap a man in public, but I won't have him call me by my first
That's
name.
right.
Wow.
I want to be that level of star.
Someday.
So
May we
you-
all get there.
So like I don't know. I always just assume people who are like performers are really into Halloween. I am. Laura's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not?
I
Is it
wound
too
up
silly?
doing this thing. I got older than 12.
Laura. Look how good these fingers look.
Oh,
No, they
yes.
do look good. They look
She's a
good on
dignified,
you.
spooky
All
lady.
right.
Wait a second. So, Justin, I want to find out. So, your next show will be when this podcast airs.
Yes.
So, everybody get ready.
Yes.
And will you just give the details just so we know?
Yeah, so we're at the LGBT Center in Hollywood, 1125 North McAdden Place.
Mm-hmm.
You can get tickets on the LA LGBT website. And we're there Friday and Saturday at 8 o'clock and Sunday and Monday at 7 o'clock. And then we're done. And then, yeah, just lots of new stuff coming up. I'm actually, we're speaking of John Waters. So during the pandemic, I wrote a whole bunch of plays, and the last one that I wrote was a sequel to Female Trouble.
Shut up!
What?
Wait, let's talk about that. Or
Yeah.
can we? I don't
Oh,
want
Amazing,
absolutely, yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
So I wrote a sequel to Female Trouble called Hot Flash.
Amazing.
Because in Female Trouble, Cookie Mueller's character and
Yes.
Sarah, Conchetta and Chiclet survive.
Yes.
So I was like, well, that's the story. Like,
First of all, Chiclet is the one.
Oh,
She
absolutely.
is the one.
so I wrote this story about Conchetta and Chiclet. They're still shit kicking and thieving, And Chiclet gets picked up by the cops and has a parole officer named Merv Stankowski. And Merv is infamous for kind of plotting the downfalls of all her parole. She gets them put back in jail under worse charges always.
Incredible.
So it ends up becoming this kind of Wizard of Oz thing where Merv chases them across the country.
Wow.
Trying to get away as Chiclet and Conchetta get away. But we did it, and it was really fun. We did.
Oh, you
Drew
did
Droege.
it?
Yeah, we did it. We did it online, and then we did it live in New York one time. And Drew Droege and Sam Pancake played Chiclet and Conchetta.
Oh, they're great.
They're two of the
Yeah.
funniest
Oh
fucking
my
people
God.
ever.
So funny.
Like,
so
ever.
funny. And when I was kind of going back through scripts, I was like, oh, this would actually really be a great musical. So I'm working with the guy, Carl, who wrote the music for Dix, is working on the
Amazing.
music
Jeez,
for
incredible.
Hot Flash, the musical.
That's so good.
Does John Waters have any idea?
I know people who know him.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where like I know enough people that know him. It's like a call away, but I've never like. He's like the Pope. I'm so nervous to meet him.
But let's talk. Like Ray Bradbury has Fall of the House of Usher 2,
Yeah.
which is a very bizarre rando, but in the tapestry of that story and those like that literary category, it fits.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally fits.
And it's very reverent. It's very like, I so deeply love John Waters and like love the kind of irreverence. And he's a huge influence on my work. Like he's been on everything, including Lottie. Like I thought it was in Polyester where she goes, both my children are perfect.
yeah.
So that's in my show. I put it in my show as like a quote to John because I just
Amazing.
love him.
But that was your quote, not his.
Yeah, I
It just
went
sounded
back and
like-
watched the movie and I was like, oh, it's not in there.
Yeah.
That's a
I
great-
remember her going, both my children are perfect. So I
that's
I
amazing.
love him so deeply. So
Yes.
like it all comes out of love. And if he told me tomorrow, don't do it, I wouldn't do it.
I
'Cause
doubt he
just
would,
love him
though.
so much.
I
doubt
think
he
you'd get
would.
such a kick out of
Oh,
it.
absolutely. It's really fun. And it is a total homage to him. And like we really try to make every reference and like really make it really fun. One of the best scenes and one of the weirdest thing that keeps popping up is, so we did it on stage and I had written this section where Chiclet and Conchetta get to Philadelphia. So they get on what is known as the perv bus, where ladies ride for free, but you got to be perved on.
Okay, that's great.
So they're just sitting there and like Chiclet's kind of into it. Conchetta's like, this is gross. I hate these fucking pervs. And to do this one section, we bought those truck nuts, you know, those testicles that guys hang off the back.
Sure.
Because we wanted somebody to stand up and be like, yeah, look at my nuts. So for some reason, I got stuck with the prop truck nuts.
Oh, fantastic.
And they just pop up randomly in my house all the time.
Yeah, all these fucking truck nuts again.
My partner was like, what the fuck are these? And why are they here?
Right? They're like,
and I was like, oh, it's a prop for a show. And she's like, get rid of them. Get rid of them. So
I'm working on the blog. This new sign, but they're nuts.
It's the new mezuzah. It's the new...
Kiss them as you come in the door. Yeah. But we had to finally just kind of dismiss them into someone else's hands so that they wouldn't just randomly pop up in my house.
They could also be like holly. You could hold that's right. And kiss
mistletoe.
Whatever you want to do underneath them is your decision.
Oh, that's amazing.
I saw him live when he performs, I guess, but it's just John Waters, right? And it was when he says, old chickens make good soup, right? And me and my friend Ralphie's this brilliant comedian down in Austin. We both were the only two who were like, oh, like theater clapping and a sea of all these people. And like 24 hours later, Ralphie has that shit tattooed huge on his arm with a big old soupy chicken. Because John Waters has these pivotal I wouldn't even call them one-liners. He just has this way of like really being succinct and bizarre and eloquent, like all at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
But before I met my boyfriend, every Christmas, instead of doing anything, he would show Female Trouble. That was like that was the Christmas tree. That was the unwrapping.
Well, now you guys are going to have to see hot flashes.
Hot flash.
I love that. Look how annoying I am with these fingers.
Is it hot flashes or just hot flash?
Just hot. It's hot flash. The shit-kicking adventures of Chiclet and Conchetta.
That's really good.
That's really good.
I want to talk about John Waters the other day. What was it? We Googled where Divine died, and it was a block away from where we were.
Oh my God.
So we did some Santeria.
Is there a Divine, like kind of a celebration every year or anything?
No,
for Divine?
not really.
She doesn't have a star, does she?
I'm kind of surprised.
No.
He just got his. Why would she have one, right?
But I think maybe you need to do a Divine Day.
Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, even like we went to see the exhibit downtown, and it was like, I mean, it was beautiful and it was really interesting, and like there's something so magical about all those original people because it was just a bunch of kids making movies.
Yes.
And then you look at the costumes and you think, like, especially the Divine costumes, I was like, oh my God, like she was in that. Like, I don't know. She's such a mythical creature in my head.
Yeah. I love shit like that. We just went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and we got to, because not me, but Margaret got us access to the vault.
Oh, wow.
I think I talked about that, but Dolly Parton's rhinestone saxophone, but with her like glitter pink lipstick on the mouthpiece, right? Stevie Nicks', it was like a suede velvet, like almost blue, like Laura shirt, fucking shawl.
Oh, wow.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
And all of that for some reason, like the Lucy Museum, right? Where they're like the polka dot dress. I'm like, she was in that. It's really hard for me to wrap my head around, but I'm such a fag for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I mean, that was it.
Haunted garments.
Oh, sure. But also, like, you look at how like amazing they were, and like my partner went in and does not have the John Waters references and saw the Tracy Turnblad dress from the end of Hairspray with the cockroaches on it. And she's like, oh, that's the Alaska dress. And I was like,
no.
No.
Justin, you, by the way, are one of the most prolific people I think I've ever met. You also, your book, Husky.
Yeah.
We should find out where to get that, too.
Oh, you could get them all on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I had a book come out last year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You're amazing. What was it?
It's called From Gay to Z.
Amazing.
It was I kept getting all these messages on like Instagram or whatever of young gay people being like, we don't know things and you know all this stuff. So I started doing a show called The Gay BCs, where I would like walk you through gay culture and be like, here's something you should know.
That's so smart.
What is something,
That's really clever.
what was something you were surprised that people didn't know?
Like there's like certain people that I think folks don't know, like Fred Camin was one of the first out people to sue the U.S. government for losing his job, and like was big involved in the Mattachine Society.
You do real, actually.
I do real people.
You're not.
But I also
who was
do,
in
like,
Dora?
I do those people, but I also do. Here, you should see this clip of Cher doing all the parts in West Side Story.
I was just talking about that.
Yeah. So like a mixture of high and low at any given moment.
Just talking about. Cher does every single part.
Every single part.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It is remarkable.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know whose
idea
fever dream in like 1974 was like, I don't know if it's the Quaaludes or me, but Cher needs to play all the parts.
Yes. And she does.
She
does it.
Boy, she's in boy drag. It's amazing. So it was a lot of that. And then that came out last May. And we've been doing that. I just actually went to a panel in Palm Springs, like a writer's panel.
Oh, cool.
To talk about it. And I have to tell you this, because this is me feeling old. So this is this panel. We're all talking about gay history, which I'm like, I am gay history. I have no idea. Yeah. There's this wonderful woman who's like 70, and she was like organizing Chicano lesbians in LA in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
She just wrote this memoir. There's this young non-binary person who is working in San Francisco on this like archive of this out queer literary conference that happened in the 80s. There's me who wrote my little book. And then there's these two gay guys who like paint pictures and make jokes. And then we're all like being like trying to be scholars or whatever. And they're like, we're young and dumb. And that was, I quote them almost exactly. They were like, we're just pretty and stupid.
That's the thing though.
And I was like, oh, they've won the day. Yeah. Because I'm sitting up here being like, let's cry. Let's feel it. And they're like,
well, why were they on the panel? Had they written anything?
No, they had a book out.
Oh,
they do have a book out.
Oh.
And the book is okay.
But that, don't you find, maybe it's just generationally speaking, not just only gay men, but like it's cute to be like uninformed.
Oh, apparently.
Right?
I mean, I feel like even like stand-ups, it's rare if someone has material.
Yeah, well, you were talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
you were
just
just
have to
talking
do
about that before.
Crowd work. You don't have to have jokes. The audience is supposed to say something funny.
Wow.
That's what's popular right now.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's especially with gay people, they're liberated. It's fine. They're especially, you know what I mean? Like the fight still goes on in places, but you don't have to at all.
I wanted to be real smart. That was the whole thing.
Yeah. But then
I wanted to be smart.
But the code is
was that a general? Was it Stonewall Jackson?
But the code of it, the secrecy, right? The wink wink. Someone actually said this. They were like, in the old days, you knew someone was gay if they knew a Margaret Cho joke, right?
Oh, sure.
Or same thing if they were there were certain signals.
Yeah.
And I feel like those things are what I am hooked to as part of history, even though it was like the code.
And what about Cruising?
That is old as the hills.
That movie,
man.
I know.
I love
that,
Cruising.
but remember there was the different bandana.
The hankies?
Oh, hanky
yeah.
code, yeah. Well, I believe George Michael was sort of instrumental in getting the law changed about like it was entrapment when the undercover cop.
Right, yeah.
You couldn't wink at someone and then lure them into a bathroom or public place for like a sexual public act because that's actually part of our culture that has had to exist because we were deemed illegal and it goes on in a secret place. So that's called entrapment. You can't lure someone in. Right.
I do.
Even if you're their father figure.
Put your tiny what in mine?
Yeah, exactly.
I do love referring to gay culture as like bathroom sex, and also like it's like, oh, my grandmother's culture was making pierogies and getting off the shtetl. My culture is blowing three guys in
and never knowing
in a
their
terminal
names.
bathroom.
I love a generation gap.
That's right.
That was how gay people came here, right? In Ellis Island, it was just a big bathroom that was on a ship.
That's why all the names are.
That's right.
That's why everyone came out with a different name.
And the
after
names
Ellis
were on the
Island.
bathroom wall, right?
That's right.
She made pierogies. That was what she was doing. That was
Did you
her
notice,
catcall.
I thought you would notice this.
I did. I was going to say something about it. What happened?
Justin, I'm always cutting myself. I'm a cutter, but I do it very slowly. I'm going to die very slowly. No, I'm just kind of absent-minded. So if I'm cutting anything, I always cut one of my
What is that
fingers.
from today?
I don't know. Oh, this was from cutting tissue in wrapping paper because it's Garrett's mom's birthday, and I was like, "Should I make something?"
Last week, Laura fished some gold acrylic paint out of the garbage and came out with a fucking fully lacerated finger. She goes, "Wait, I threw it away, but I'll get it for you." She reached out and came out with blood
because of the cans of cat food or something. But it's okay to be absent-minded if you're a comic. I mean, kind of. Like, you don't want to be a surgeon who's absent-minded.
No.
What did I do with that clamp?
It's always the same finger, though, right?
I guess. Yeah, these two.
Your pointer. You need to wear these protective witch nails.
I know. These are adorable. I think I might.
Put them on. I think this is what I was like with a cigarette. If you think I'm judged, this was me smoking.
Wait, did you ever smoke, Justin?
I still have the affectation. Don't give me a pen if you don't want it in my mouth.
I love it. I don't know what it is.
What is this? I liked this, but I don't smoke.
I'm into that too.
Just the gesturing of it, I very much like.
Does Mari smoke?
No.
Oh, that's great.
No. It's nice. It's nice.
She's very healthy.
A real sweetheart.
I know. I'm so glad. You know, the last time I saw you, you had been with somebody, you were in a breakup, and you were like, you've had it with LA, and you had this cool apartment, but you were leaving everything. And I guess it was like right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So things are so much better, and I'm so happy because you deserve it. You're brilliant. I'm so damn glad.
No, I'm
things
glad.
Turned around.
You know, sometimes I kind of felt bad about like leaving because you get into that mindset of like, oh, if you're not here this minute, it's all gonna go away and it's all gonna pass you by. But when you start making decisions for yourself a little bit, things end up working out.
And LA is purgatory. So if you get out of here, things will be much better. It's awful being here.
Yeah. I love it, though, but I hate it.
I know. I was telling Garrett, like, I've gotten to a point where nobody's going to, unless there are people that, are 45 and up, aren't going to get this reference. But I said to Garrett, it's kind of like Midnight Cowboy, and I'm Ratso Rizzo, because he's much younger, and he's, John Voight. He's got to get me to Ireland, even if I die and shit my pants on the train or on the plane. I just need to get out of here.
Sure.
Your goal is Ireland. You really mean it.
I know.
You do.
I mean, I know the house is pretty that we're here, and then the area is nice, but just like to not leave here is bad. You need to get out.
Yeah. Do you have a final island? What's your like
a final
or like
island?
You've made it? What's your escape? Like mine is either Iceland or like Hawaii. I have island mind.
Nice. I think I've become very kind of like I want a house in the woods.
Oh yeah.
I want a house in the woods. I want a dog and like coffee and going out to a little shed where I type my little, everything. So
very writer.
I'd like to maybe go to Vermont, or I'd like to go to somewhere like Italy.
Oh yeah.
And just have like a little like little shed.
Hello.
Yeah.
But
you've always been a writer. I mean, you're a performer as well. But when did you cultivate your own like writing culture as a person?
Well, I was an actor at first for years.
And he's an amazing performer. I saw Justin at the Uncab at Beth's show.
Oh,
it was fantastic.
I just did it the other night.
Oh, great. How was it?
It was fun.
Oh, yeah. What the hell? You never know.
I bomb at that show every time.
Oh, no.
I
you do?
Every time.
Oh, I do very well there.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just know how to pick it up and go.
Yeah, I bomb.
I've always done well. Other places I bombed. But I was an actor for a long time in New York, and then I had like 3 auditions, which were gonna like change the game. Like it was my first Broadway show, or like my first lead in an off-Broadway show, or I was gonna be in. I think it was The Importance of Being Earnest with like Lynn Redgrave.
Amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
I was in like final callbacks for all 3, and I didn't get any of them. And it was like 6. I was like, this is a job. I've worked a job trying to get this job and didn't get any of them. So I was just heartbroken about it. And I went up to a radical fairy retreat in the woods.
Wait, what was it called?
Fairy Camp Destiny.
Yes, no, I have friends that do that.
Oh, yeah.
Is it upstate?
Oh, it's way up in Vermont.
Yeah, I've got friends that do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, his name is Tia George.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I went up and I was like just distraught, and I thought I've wanted to be an actor. I wanted to do all these things, and it's not going to work. So I got to think of something else to do. And the first weekend I was up there, I came up with the idea for my show, The Meeting, which was a comedy variety show that I did in New York. And I thought, I could write that. It's just like a couple of jokes, just things. And then that really kind of led into everything else. Like it was just like I started writing sketches for that, and I started writing them longer form, and then plays and books and television. So it all just kind of came out of that. And now what I like better, it's interesting, especially doing kind of like Lottie, because I'm in the show as well.
Oh, great.
I think most people, when you think like, oh, you wrote a show, you like put yourself in the lead.
Yes.
And I didn't.
Right.
I play the wicked stepmother.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
I have great jokes. I have the least amount to memorize.
Yes.
I walk in, I nail it, I leave. Done.
Fantastic.
People don't realize that's the job you want.
Exactly. That's so
Everybody's
good.
like, oh, here's 3 monologues. No.
No.
10 great jokes and I'm out. Thanks, everybody.
That's a great way to do it. I had this. Someone told me that Cecil B. DeMille was like my spirit person or whatever. I looked him up, and he's probably was a pedophile. But he used to write on a yacht. And this is in the 1930s, and he'd have parties on these yachts with really young women and whatever. But he used to write. I mean, before he would direct stuff, I guess he wrote and directed. But I just thought, man, that's what I would like to do. Like Justin was saying, being in the woods, I'd like to be able to write on a boat.
Oh yeah,
and just be like, don't worry, I'll be on the boat later. I'll write.
Yeah,
it's nice. So I think that's like temperament wise, it actually worked out. Because as just an actor, I was always really frustrated because I'd be like, the camera doesn't like that. Like you have that mindset of you're looking
at the bigger picture. Yeah.
As an actor, I was always like that, and I was probably annoying.
Yeah.
So as a writer, I could do all that and then put myself in it. So it's not so bad.
I've always come back to that. When people say, this person would never ask for anything. That's not me. I always ask.
Yeah.
I'm a pain in the ass, and I beg everybody for shit, for jobs, whatever. But when I come back to writing for myself and just say, okay, no one's helping me, no one's will help me, I have to write myself out of this.
Oh, sure.
That I always come back to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's once like where I'm working on 2 projects while I'm here, and I printed out pages and I looked at them and they were like just garbage. I was
No.
like, I did really think of like that this is typed, not written.
Yeah.
He's wrong about everything else, but he might be right now.
Yep.
But it is the thing of like when you do it and when you've done it, the practice of like, oh, I can do it again. It's going to take a little longer. But like you can do it again. You build up that stamina of like, oh, okay.
And it's the only way to not be edited and have somebody else's stink on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Just do it yourself. And by the way, don't the written type not written. That is the same person who said to the hair and makeup person about Beth Bears, "I want you to make her hair a star. Right now, it's not a star." Her hair.
Like what?
Crazy.
This business warps people's minds.
It's
totally.
so just shallow and just God
but then
almighty.
once you get in, it's like this weird authority. Have you ever worked in a restaurant?
No.
No one? I feel like I'm so.
Oh, I did. I worked at the Ponderosa Steakhouse and got fired.
Yeah, but you know how like sexual harassment is just pervade. It's the total culture of like the staff of and encourage like everybody does it. And then once you're outside of that world, you're like, oh my God, what I was doing was so illegal. You know what I mean? But everybody, it's done to you. You do it to them, not like assault, but like like conversationally.
Oh, absolutely.
And so Hollywood is no different. It's so insane. It's like once you're given authority, you turn into a monster.
Well, and also when all the Me Too stuff really started to come out and like certain people were getting picked off by that, I remember having conversations with other folks of like, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's like, you were so audacious you got caught.
Yes.
You're not talking about the real people that are doing it all the time, and the horrible stories you hear about so many people that are just never going to get, I don't know that they'll ever be called out.
That's very true. That is actually very true.
And when you and even like with Woody Allen, like saying that he's a pedophile, and I think for sure he is, like whatever he did, to the kids, they let him adopt little girls, which I was like, with Soon Yi, and I was just like, how can that happen? Because that one time he was caught with the naked photos. What makes you think that he didn't keep doing stuff like that?
Well, did you watch the Woody and Mia thing?
Yeah.
I watched it, and it really it turned my completely around. I'd always thought he was creepy and not whatever, but there was such I remember at the time there was such a perception of like Mia's gone nuts.
Yeah,
she's making this stuff up.
Yes,
it's not the case.
She's overreacting.
She's overreacting. She's upset because of the Soon Yi thing, which is something totally to get upset about.
Yeah,
right.
Hello.
Yeah. It's still your daughter. Yeah,
but watching the new thing, I was like, oh my God, there's no gray area at all.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's diabolical. It's just so creepy. Oh my God.
And the spin that it all comes out of is profound.
Yeah, that's why Diane Keaton has to wear gloves all the time.
Yeah,
just because she knew clean. She's got to keep her hands clean.
Justin, one of the things that we both always ask, because, Daniel and I have been getting to know each other through the podcast. When you were in grade school, middle school, junior high school, did you know you wanted to be a performer, or did you feel like you were different from the other kids? Or
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I knew I wanted to be funny because I thought that was a great power. And I knew I could be on stage and be safe. That was a great thing. I had a story when I was 12. I was singing in a recital at a college, and all the power went out because it was the middle of the summer, and all the power went out in all the buildings. And I was on stage, and I was in complete darkness, and I just started telling jokes.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, I guess they didn't pay the light bill. Just terrible schlock. But it was like the moment where I was like, if I'm up here, nothing can go wrong.
Oh, I love that.
And that was it.
That was what a great instinct in that moment to just,
Well, even like doing the show, like everybody gets nervous, and I'm like, well, I wrote it, so I'm. But it's like, actually out there is the safest place for me. It's the after stuff of like when you're shaking, thanks so much for it's that stuff. Like out there, that's safe. That's easy.
Do you ever get anxious before a show? Or
I get anxious because I want to make sure that I do well, and I want to make sure my energy's in a good place. But I never get anxious about the doing of it, especially if I've written it, because I'm always like, oh, even if it goes off,
right?
I know how to get back because I know I've worked on the scene long enough to be like, I know the information we have to get out to move on,
exactly.
Oh, that's great.
But I don't get nervous in the same way of like, oh, are they going to like me? Or are they going to, because I think I've had enough practice. And I'm sure you both know this of like, when you're standing up on a stage and it's yourself for an hour or 30 minutes, like there's nothing harder in the world. I mean, I'm sure there's heart surgery, other things are harder. But like that kind of, that vulnerability that is so intense that it's like, once you've done that, there's very few things that are really scary to you in the same way.
I still feel that though. I'm like, oh, they're not going to like me. And then in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, I was right. They hate me.
Oh, no.
Fucking hate me.
You. It's like, look, I feel like I've given up trying to get acceptance from, family or whatever. And so strangers are the last.
Because it doesn't hurt when they reject.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
Listen to us self-diagnose.
Well,
this is so cute.
You hear that Joan Baez quote? She just, because I'm of an age where I watch CBS Sunday morning. Joan Baez said, I was never good at one-on-one, but 2,000-on-1 I was great.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
I get
like,
that.
Oh, yeah.
See,
know what that's about.
That's so smart.
So you play, is Lizzie Borden's grandmother?
I play Lottie Plachett's stepmother, Barfa.
Perfect.
Barfa. Yeah.
That's really
She's
funny.
She's real disgusting.
But
that's really funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. It really sounds like a southern name, even though I know it's,
Barfa.
That's so
it's
funny.
just
Lottie.
really, it's terrible. But yeah, Barfa phlegm.
Barfa Flam.
Nice.
Have you seen Haunted Honeymoon? That old.
Oh, yes.
Where Dom DeLuise is in drag the whole time. He's the aunt. I forget his
I have to
name.
see that.
Gilda
Okay,
Radner.
that's our movie date.
I would love
It's
it.
a Gilda, and she's adorable. In
She's
it.
so
She's
cute.
so cute. Well, okay, we'll watch. That's our movie.
Have you seen Village of the Damned?
Oh, of
Yes,
course.
I love it so.
Of course. Do you like scary movies?
I like those scary movies.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Like we watched Talk to Me the other night. That new scary movie. I got no time for that. That's just people making bad decisions, and I'm watching it.
Also, the whole time, all I'm doing is singing Stevie Nicks going, "You can talk to me," and no one.
No, you might be the only one.
Yeah,
but very gory, very nothing. My partner was like, "Oh, we have to watch this new horror movie." I was like, "Oh, fine, okay." So we watched it. It was fine. I was like, "I'm going to show you a real horror movie," and we watched The Mask of the Red Death with Vincent Price.
Yes.
From like 64.
Yes.
And everybody's got they're supposed to be like Italian villagers in the 1600s. Everybody's got mod haircuts.
Yes.
So tacky and beautiful and like just silliness.
Can we talk about the Mask of the Red Death? Because first of all, there's a couple animations of it, right?
Yes.
Oh, really?
They're beautiful. There's a weird I think it's Italian on the internet you can find. Because I was just talking about the Mask of the Red Death. We went to a party and it was this beautiful house and each room was sort of a color. Not quite, sort of like that. But the party sector is all these LA people and no one wanted to talk to us and all that. I was like, you know what this party needs is a man dressed like death. Just to come fucking drop everybody
with
down to the floor.
That's
right. With the fucking to just go dong, dong, like through the room.
That's one of my favorite Monty Python things. When Death shows up to dinner. Do you remember that Monty Python sketch?
Which one was that?
They're all eating and they've all been poisoned by the food. And some guest arrives and it's Death. He's in a black cape and a sickle. And they're like, don't you want anything?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. And he knows that everybody's going to be dead. How come you're not eating? I'm just not hungry.
Yes.
It's so fucking funny. It's Monty Python. It's kind of a famous Monty Python. But anyway, sorry.
The movie The Last Supper with it's like one of Cameron Diaz's first movies. Have you seen this? Oh, it's so good. Okay, so it's too much of a spoiler to tell you what happens.
Okay.
But part of the scene is where if someone's being murdered, they don't want the victim to know that they've been murdered. They want it to think that they're dying of like an accident. So the murderers scream like, ah, like they don't know what's going on, right? Even though they're the ones who like poison the person.
Oh, how smart.
So then when the person starts to die, they're all pretending that they don't know what the fuck is going on. It's so good. Do you know who had Vincent Price's ashes?
No.
Joan Rivers.
Really?
And do you know who she willed them to?
Who?
Robin Quivers.
That has to be in Gay to Z.
Truly.
Because who the hell would know that but you?
How does that happen?
Because Joan Rivers says that a lot of people she's quoted a lot of times. She'll be like,
there's a volume 2 with Daniel.
Yeah,
right. He's like, there's like Melissa. She's like, he was her godfather, right? But she says that about a few people. But she says Vincent Price was he's Melissa's godfather. So she has his ashes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Or had.
Wow, yeah.
I love The Mask of the Red Death. It's one of my favorite.
It's so campy. It's so incredible.
Yes. Do you know it? The story and everything?
I feel like Garrett and I must have watched that on our first date because I fell on my head. I talked about this and thing, and we just met, and he had to stay with me for 24 hours to make sure I didn't have a concussion. And it was on October 25th, so we were watching.
That's tomorrow.
All these Halloween movies, and we were just saying like Vincent Price we should have a recording of Vincent Price if we have a real wedding ceremony because he was like
very integral to your story.
Yes, exactly.
I love
exactly.
Well, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
This was so fun.
Was so fun.
Yeah. And people can find you where?
I'm Justin Elizabeth Sayre on Instagram, and that's right now. Everything else is up and running, but that one you can always find me on.
Yay!
Fantastic. And Garrett and I are going to go to the show tonight when this podcast airs.
Yes.
So can we say it? Will you just give us the info one more time, Justin? So people.
It's Lottie Plachett took a hatchet. It's at the LGBT Center on 1125 North McCannon Place. Tickets are on the LGBT website, on the LA LGBT Center website. And come by last weekend.
And what time?
It's 8 o'clock on Friday and Saturday and 7 o'clock on Sunday and Monday.
Great.
Yay.
So Monday is when you'll be hearing this, so go tonight.
Go tonight.
You're going to have a blast.
Exactly. So much fun.
And while Justin's in town, it's a treat.
Yeah.
A real treat.
And happy Halloween.
Yes.
Thank you, Justin. Oh, I'm so glad.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.